Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktiravavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Namo Nalinanetraya Vinodvadya Vinodine Radhadara Sudhapana Shaline Vanamanine Mahabhavasvarupastu Krishna Priya Variyasi Prima Bhakti Prade Devi Shri Radhika Tvam Namostute. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. And today we are starting chapter 24. In previous chapters we have seen how Prithu Maharaj was instructed by Chatrushka Maharaj. Because his question was that how one can make progress in spiritual life and how one can attain his ultimate goal of life. In answer to that question, Sanat Kumar, he explains that one need to have an association of devotees. Second thing, in association, they should inquire about the knowledge that can give you total information about yourself, the material nature, and your relationship with the Lord. So after gaining that knowledge, one should increase his attachment to the Lordship by hearing more and more about the Lord from his devotees. And then, after hearing that instruction, he applied it in his own life and he taught his whole subject also about that. And at proper time, when his sons were capable of taking care of his empire, he retired and he went to the forest with his wife. And he showed by example that how one should get detached from his household responsibilities when his sons are capable of taking care of those. And without any attachment, he quit everything and he went. And he started performing austerities to please the Supreme Personality of a God. And his wife, Archie, she also followed the footsteps of her husband. And both they attended the ultimate goal of their life, the shelter of their Lordship. His son, Vichitashva, he was a very powerful person, as like his own father, Maharaj Prathu. He had 4 sons. One of them was Haridhanva. And from his wife, Haridhanu, he had 4 sons, and one of them was Barhisha, who is known as a Prachni Barhisha. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are different episodes. The first we had about Maharaj Dhruva, who was one of the prominent person in Manu Maharaj's dynasty. He showed by his own example that how one should be determined to execute the responsibilities. And the greatest responsibility, being a human being, is to perform devotional service to the Lord. So he has shown it from his childhood itself. Then the next person about whom we hear, that is Prithu Maharaj. And after Prithu Maharaj, there's a nice and wonderful story about Prachni Parishad, one of his descendants. Prachni Parishad, he was so powerful, so he was known as a Pracheta also, or Prajapati, one of the progenitors. And he had 10 sons. They were very much elevated in their devotional and spiritual life. That since their birth, because of this quality, they are known as a prachetasas, whose consciousness is very much developed. In previous eras, we can see the father, he used to give advice or instruction to his sons before they take any responsibilities, they should perform austerities. So before they get married, he asked his sons, Maharaj Prashni Barheshwar, he asked his 10 sons, Prachetas, to go and perform austerities. So being an obedient son of Maharaj Prashni Barheshwar, all these Prachetas, they started walking on the western side of the world. They wanted to enter into the ocean and wants to perform austerities for 10,000 years. That was back in Satyayuga, because those days people used to live for 1,000 years. So they wanted to, thousands of years, so they wanted to go and perform austerities. So while going, in midway, they met Lord Shiva. So Maitreya Rishi, who was narrating this particular episode, he was telling Vidura that these great sons of Prachni Barheshwar, to execute the order of their father, they started walking towards the ocean on the western part of the world. And as they were going, they saw in mid of their way a huge lake which looks like an ocean. It's that big, and which is full of lotuses, different colors of lotuses, pink, blue. There is one particular lotus which is known as Indira, because that lotus, it blossoms only at night. When the moonlight comes, then only that lotus blossoms. That lake was full of different varieties of lotuses. So it looked like a big or huge store of lotuses only. So as they were going from there, they heard beautiful sounds of cattle drums, veena, kartals, and they were surprised. And they stopped for a while. And as they stopped, they saw that a very effulgent personality is coming out of that lake. And here it is explained, this says that Tayyeva sasarastasmin nishkamantam sahanugam upagiyamanas samara pravaram vibudhanugaihi tapta hema nikayabham shitikantha trilochanam prasada sumkham vikshe pranemu jata kautakaha. Who is that personality? Who came out of that lake? That is explained here. They say that the Prachetas were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of the demigods, emerging from the water with his associates. His bodily luster was just like molten gold. His throat was bluish, and he had 3 eyes, which looked very mercifully upon his devotees. He was accompanied by many musicians who were glorifying him. As soon as Prachetas saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered their obeisances in great amazement and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. Here it is said that they were able to see Lord Shiva. It's not that easy to see the Lord Shiva. It's very difficult, unless and until if he is pleased by himself. he never comes in front of anyone. And here, Rachetas, they were able to see their Lord Shiva. Even though Lord Shiva, with his associates, every day he comes out in the evening, during the evening Sandhya, the 12th night, and he goes everywhere. That's why generally it is said that no one should sleep at that time. If they sleep at that time, they get influenced by the mode of ignorance. Because the associates of Lord Shiva, who are like ghosts and hobgoblins, they capture that person. So he 12 night, संध्या के समय में, सूरज ढलने से और चंद्रमा उगने से पहले, और रोज अलग अलग है. So he moves every day, but nobody has seen him. But here we can see that Prachetas, they were able to see him. So how that was possible? Further, Maitreya Rishi explains, Satan prapannitir haroho bhagavan dharmavatsalaha dharmadhyana shila sampannan pritihu pritaha pritunuvachaha. Lord Shiva became very pleased with the Prachetas because generally Lord Shiva is the protector of pious persons and person of a gentle behavior. Being very much pleased with the princess, he began to speak as follows. So here we can understand why they were able to see him, because they were pious. Here it is explained that Bhagavan Dharma Vatsala, Lord Shiva is Dharma Vatsala. If someone follows the Dharma, his occupational duty, his eternal duty, then Lord Shiva is pleased with them, and then they can see him. So here Prachetas, by following the order of their own father, they were on the way to perform austerities. So they were following the Putra Dharma. And because they were so obedient to their father and they are following their own Dharma, Lord Shiva was very much pleased with them. And he appeared in front of them. Generally we see the picture of Lord Shiva, now they painted as a blue, or sometimes as a karpura thavla, just like a camphor, whitish like a camphor. But here it is clearly explained, his bodily luster is like tapta hema nikayabham. His bodily luster is like molten gold. And Shiti Kantha, only his Kantha is blue. It's not that his whole body is blue. And when he is pleased with this Prachetas, he started talking to them. See how lucky they were, how fortunate they were. First of all, this were able to see Lord Shiva. Second thing, now Lord Shiva is talking to them. And what he says, Shri Rudra Uvacha Yuyam Vedi Vadash Putraha Viditam Vishchikirshitam Anugrahaya Bhadram Va Evam Me Darshanam Kritam. Lord Shiva said, you are all the sons of King Prachini Barhishi. And I wish all good fortune to you. I also know what you are going to do, and therefore I am visible to you just to show my mercy upon you. Yah param rahansa sakshat trigunar sannita bhagavantam vasudevam prapanna sapriyo hime. Here the most important thing has explained. Who is dear to Lord Shiva? Whom Lord Shiva really loves, appreciates. He says that Yaha paramarahansaha sakshat trigunanjita sangitam bhagavantam vasudevam prapannaha sapriyohime. Any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, Krishna, that is Vasudeva, the controller of everything, material nature as well as the living entity, is actually very dear to me. So if you are a devotee of Lord Krishna, then you are very much dear to Lord Shiva. That's what he is telling. It's not commentary, but he himself is explaining that. Who is really dear to him. Then further he says, Swadharmanishta shatajanma vippuman virinchitameti tatha param himam avyakritam bhagavato atha vaishnavam padam yatahum vibhuda kalatyaye. A person who execute his occupational duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. And if he becomes more qualified, he can approach Lord Shiva. A person who is directly surrendered to Lord Krishna or Vishnu in unalloyed devotional service is immediately promoted to the spiritual planets. Lord Shiva and other demigods attain these planets after the destruction of his material of this material. So here Lord Shiva himself is explaining the glories of that person who has devoted himself at the lotus feet of Lord Vaishnava. He says clearly here, Bhagavato atha Vaishnavam. He is explaining the highest position of Vaishnavas. He says that someone, any living entity like us, if he follows Varnashram Dharma for 100 birth time, then he can occupy that post of Brahma, because Brahma is one post. Anyone can become Brahma, provided if he follows Varnashram Dharma for 1,000 lifetimes or 100 lifetimes. Even someone is more qualified than that, then he can attain the Kailasa planet also. He can go to Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva himself is saying, if someone takes shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, Vasudeva, then that person can go to the spiritual world. He can attain that spiritual world, which belongs to the Lordship. So that's the position of Vaishnavas. Every Brahma is not a Vaishnava. But any Jiva who practices Krishna consciousness and takes shelters at the lotus feet of Lord, he is guaranteed to go back to Godhead. And Lord Shiva, he himself explaining that. Then further he says, Ata bhagavata yuyam priyasva bhagavan yataha na mad bhagavatanam cha preyan anyosti karahachit. You are all devotees of the Lord, and as such, I appreciate that you are as respectable as the Supreme Personality of a Godhead himself. I know in this way that the devotees also respect me and that I am dear to them. Thus, no one can be as dear to the devotees as I am. Generally, especially in India, there are some Shaivites and some Vaishnavites. Some Shaivites, they don't look at Vishnu temple. There are some Vaishnavas, they don't look at Shiva temple. For those people who are misguided, this verse is very important. Because Lord Shiva, he respects all the Vaishnavas as he respects Lord Vishnu. And all the Vaishnavas, they respect Lord Shiva because he is very dear to them. They never offend him. In previous eras, they used to have a big wars. Like the Shaivites, they used to break Vishnu temples. They destroy that and they used to build Shiva temple there. They used to force Vaishnavas to become Shaivas because of misunderstanding or not having a proper knowledge about the scriptures. But here it is clearly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam, it is called as a pramanam amalam. It is a proper evidence of real dharma. It kicks away all Kaitava dharmas or so-called religious or religions that has created by different personalities. And it establishes the real dharma. And that we can see in each and every episode of this Srimad Bhagavatam, that how they have glorified the Lord Vishnu, the Lord Krishna, Ramachandra, and his devotees, and their position in respect to other demigods. And here we can see clearly, Lord Shiva himself is saying that for me the most dear personalities are Vaishnavas, and for them I am. Then further he says, idam vivaktam japatavya pavitram mangalam param nishreyaskaram cha pishrayatam tvaduvam apivaha. Then he says, now I shall chant one mantra which is not only transcendental, pure and auspicious, but is the best prayer for anyone who is aspiring to attain ultimate goal of life. When I chant this mantra, please hear it carefully and attentively. So what Lord Shiva is going to sing, which is known as a Rudra Geet, that he is going to explain further. And he, generally what happens, first you get the prayers, and at the end of the prayer they explain that Phalashruti, if you chant this, then what you are going to get. But in the beginning itself, Lord Shiva is explaining that what you are going to attain by hearing these prayers. If someone is really sincere in his spiritual life to attain the ultimate goal of his life, then Lord Shiva says, you should hear these prayers. So how many of you would like to hear them? Are you interested? Note it down. If you go home, read them. It's in Canto 4, chapter 24, and it starts from text 32. 4, 24, 32. So first verse is that Maitreya Rishi says, Ityondukrosharudayo bhagavan tan shivaha Baddhanjalindrajaputran Narayana Paro Vachaha. The great sage Maitreya continued, out of his causeless mercy, the exalted personality Lord Shiva, a great devotee of Lord Narayana, continued to speak the king's sons who were standing with a folded hands. So here we can understand how one should be sincere to get knowledge. They were standing in front of Lord Shiva with a folded hands. That's the process that has given in Bhagavad Gita also. Lord says that vidhi pranipatena pariprashnana sevarya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarsha pranipataha prakrishta nitena nippataha. You can just offer your obeisances to them and be ready to accept whatever they are saying. So here in that position they were standing, and there, here Maitreya Rishi, he he explains one of their quality is that they are Narayana Paraha. Means they are totally absorbed in thinking about their Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva, he starts, the text number 33. Shri Rudra Uvacha Jitam tamatma veduvaryakasvastirastu me bhavata radasaradam sarvasma atmane namaha. Lord Shiva addressed the Supreme Personality of a Godhead with the following prayers. O Supreme Personality of a Godhead, all glories unto you. You are the most exalted of all self-realized souls. Since you are always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me. You are worshipable by virtue of the all-perfect instructions that you give. You are the super soul, therefore I offer my obeisances unto you as the supreme living being. Jitam ta atma vidavarya swastya swastir astume bhavata aradhata sraddham sarvasma atmane namaha. So here, particular attributes of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead has explained. The first thing is that he is all auspicious. Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu Mangalam. He is all auspicious for each and everyone. Second thing, he is Sarvasma Atmane Namaha. He is all pervading and residing in everyone's heart, and he is topmost living being. That's why Lord Shiva said, I offer my humble obeisances unto you. So we will stop here and we will continue next Saturday. The rest of the prayers. There are 24 prayers actually, so we can go each time 4. And we'll continue it till 1st of April. Because 1st of April will be Mahashivratri, which we are going to celebrate here. 1st of April or March, I think March, 1st of March. So next coming 4 or 6 Saturdays, we'll continue with these wonderful prayers of Lord Shiva. If you really want to get blessings of Lord Shiva, then please read these prayers. Because he himself says, whoever wants to attain the ultimate goal of their life, they should hear this prayer. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Thank you.
And if you have a family